Alabama, a place bursting with history, landscapes that will leave you speechless, and tons of hidden gems to discover. Whether you're a thrill seeker, a historian, or someone who loves to explore the unexplored, this place has everything for everyone. Want to step aboard a real battleship from World War II? Or maybe you enjoy seeing one of the biggest motorcycle collections in the world. Buckle up, because in this video, we count down the top 10 tourist attractions in Alabama that will blow your mind. And trust me, you want to stay till the end, mainly because you'd want to know what awaits at number 1. And it is going to knock you out of this world. Ready to go? Let's get in. Number 10. Fort Morgan Historic Site, Gulf Shores. Kicking off our list at number 10 is the incredible Fort Morgan Historic Site, right on the Gulf of Mexico. Now you may be thinking, so what's the big deal about an old fort? Well, Fort Morgan played a huge role in one of the most famous naval battles of the Civil War, the Battle of Mobile Bay. It is here where Admiral David Farragut was famously recorded as yelling out, "Damn the torpedoes! Full speed ahead!" Imagine standing on the same soil where that moment in history was etched. History does indeed come alive here, but that's not all there is to Fort Morgan. The coastal setting is an ideal place for a bird enthusiast, especially during migration seasons. You might even spot some rare species flying overhead. Number 9. Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum, Birmingham. At number 9, we have the Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum in Birmingham. If you're a gearhead, or just a person with an appreciation for beautiful machines, this place is simply a must-see. In fact, this museum is actually the world's largest motorcycle museum. Yes, you heard that right, with over 1,600 vintage and modern bikes from every corner of the globe and every era imaginable. Sleek, futuristic designs sit beside the first models ever made. The collection is incredibly diverse and interesting. The museum shares its grounds with Barber Motorsports Park, a world-class racetrack that hosts everything from IndyCar races to vintage motorcycle races. So, if you visit during the right time, you might even catch a race, or you could even drive on it yourself at one of the various events held. Number 8. Cathedral Caverns State Park, Woodville. After you get through the entrance, you'll see one of the world's biggest cave openings, measuring 126 feet by 25 feet. And that's just for starters. When you get inside, you are whisked away into another world of gigantic stalagmites, the highest reaching as far as 7 floors up. One of the most famous formations is Goliath, a colossus of a stalagmite measuring 45 feet tall and 243 feet in circumference. It is a destination for huge rocks, but the guided tours tell a pretty interesting story about the cave's history and geology. You will hear stories of prehistoric fossils that have been found right here, even remains of a saber-toothed tiger. Number 7. Noccalula Falls Park, Gadsden. We traveled to the 7th location by going to the Noccalula Falls Park in Gadsden. It has a marvelous attraction in the middle of the park, a 90-foot waterfall plunging into a gorge below. It is said that the waterfall is named after a Native American princess, Noccalula, who jumped from the falls, avoiding an arranged marriage to another tribe. Her statue overlooks the falls, giving it a romantic and mysterious personality. However, the waterfall is far from what Noccalula Falls Park has to offer. Miles of scenic trails wind through lush forests, past caves, and along the gorge's edge. There's even a mini train that will give you a relaxing ride through the park, which is great for little tykes with their parents. Number 6. Rosa Parks Museum, Montgomery. Finally, number 6, a journey into the very heart of the civil rights movement, the Rosa Parks Museum in Montgomery. The museum honors one of America's most respected icons, Rosa Parks, whose decision not to move on a city bus seat on December 1, 1955, triggered the Montgomery bus boycott. This was one of the ultimate events of the civil rights movement. This building has its entrance as a journey through the past. The restoration of interactive exhibits, life-size presentations, and artifacts unfolded events that ignited the movement for equality, which became a wave across the nation. What makes the Rosa Parks Museum truly special, however, is how interactive it really is. Indeed, you can sit down on a replica of that famous bus, listen to the voices of those who lived through that moment, and even a children's wing here that is purely educational. Number 5. Cheaha State Park, Delta. Number 5 brings you literally to the top. Cheaha Mountain sits in Cheaha State Park and tops out at a high point of 2,407 feet. The view from the top is awesome, especially during sunrise and sunset, a view you will never forget. Cheaha offers some of the best hiking within the state for the outdoors enthusiast, from easy strolls to challenging treks on the trails. Being part of the larger Talladega National Forest means fantastic scenery, exciting wildlife, and a refuge from the more mundane aspects of everyday life. Several campgrounds are scattered about Cheaha State Park, from which you can pitch a tent up under a canopy of trees or enjoy cozy cabin accommodations. Even if your adventure includes some rock climbing, swimming holes, or picnic areas, you'll find them. Number 4. Mobile Bay and Battleship Memorial Park, Mobile. Ranking number 4 is Mobile Bay and Battleship Memorial Park, a must-visit for history lovers and thrill seekers. Waterfront Park sports the USS Alabama, which engaged in World War II and now serves as a floating museum. It feels like taking steps back into history, and the sense of history is so palpable. In addition to that, it's not only the USS Alabama that will capture your imagination. The USS Drum, a World War II submarine that had intense actions in the Pacific Theater, lives within its confines. In addition to the battleship and submarine, there's a huge outdoor exhibit that houses tanks, military aircraft, and many other vehicles. You will see fighter jets and artillery used during past wars. Number 3. Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, Birmingham. The Birmingham Civil Rights Institute and Museum is a thing that really tugs on one's heartstrings, giving it a more in-depth look into one of the most pivotal moments in American history, the Civil Rights Movement. From segregation to desegregation, every room is filled with stories and artifacts that bring this important history to life. You'll also see the first drafts, letters, and photos that will afford you a certain intimacy in relationship with some of the leaders of the movement, such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. or local heroes who helped make a difference. One of the draws of the museum itself is its setting. In fact, opposite it is the historic 16th Street Baptist Church, where in 1963, 4 young girls lost their lives in a dreadful bombing incident. It stands today as a symbol of strength and hope. Number 2. Gulf State Park, Gulf Shores. Coming in at number 2 is Gulf State Park, a beach lovers and adventurers paradise. Found along the beautiful Gulf Coast of Alabama, this park offers miles of white sand beaches, the perfect place for sunbathing, swimming, or just lounging with a good book. But Gulf State Park is so much more than just a beach destination. The park offers over 28 miles of trails where you can hike, bike, and birdwatch. You'd go through rich forests, around fresh lakes, and across amazing marshes, scenic places, a real escape into nature. Moreover, you could kayak through calm waters in the park, or cast a line from one of the 2 piers, which extend 1,500 feet into the Gulf. There is also a nature center with educational programs and guided tours that will appeal to families. Number 1. U.S. Space and Rocket Center, Huntsville. And finally, breaking into our #1 spot is the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville. If you ever dreamed of becoming an astronaut or exploring the stars, this is the place for you. The center is home to the Saturn V rocket, of the very same type that took humans to the moon, and it towers over the museum like a giant symbol of exploration. Although most would classify Space and Rocket Center as a museum, it is much more than that. There are exhibits where tourists can participate, experience space simulations, and try astronaut training exercises. For astronauts of the future, this center offers Space Camp, where kids and adults alike can learn what is needed to live and work in space. They will be suited up and launch rockets while working with real NASA technology. And so, here are the top 10 attractions for Alabama. Whether you're exploring caves, looking out over the state's tallest mountain, or marveling at rockets that have shot humans into outer space, Alabama has something for everyone. Remember to subscribe for even more travel guides, and let us know in the comments which spot you are most excited to visit. Thanks for watching, adventurers!